Thank you, Sister Hall, for that opening music. Set the nice tempo here. I'd like to welcome you to Troop 401 Eagle Scout Court of Honor for Eagle candidate Jason Frank. Our opening music selection will be America the Beautiful, followed by the invocation given by Erwin Frank, who is the Eagle candidate's grandfather. We'll have someone sit there and make sure the flag doesn't fall. Thank you very much, Scouts, for that flag presentation. Our theme tonight is the Trail to Eagle. The pathway to Eagle can be described as a steep trail leading up to 3 peaks, the highest being that of Eagle Scout. Officially, the trail starts with Scout and tenderfoot ranks, continues through second and first class ranks. Then the mountain climbing really begins. The path is marked with merit badges, leadership responsibilities, service projects, and the practice of scouting skills. The first peak reached is that of Star Scout. The second is Light Scout, and finally the pinnacle, Eagle Scout. Would all Scouts, past and present, please stand and rededicate themselves to the Scout oath, law, motto, and slogan with our Boy Scouts. Folks.
On
Eagle Scouts, including adults, to stand at this time. We recognize you for this achievement in scouting and invite you to gather in our Eagle's Nest at this time. Thank you. May be seated. This Eagle Scout Court of Honor is now in session. Will the escorts of the court please come forward? We are gathered here tonight to honor the highest award in scouting, that of Eagle Scout. It is the climax of the trail of advancement in scouting. Will the escorts of the court please escort the Eagle candidate, Jason Frank, to the stand? Tonight, we have the honor and pleasure in recognizing Eagle candidate Jason Frank for the award of Eagle Scout. This is an important and serious matter. In full awareness of the challenge of these times, parents of this candidate and his scout leaders have labored long and faithfully to develop him towards alert and participating citizenship through the Boy Scout program. Their efforts culminate tonight in the presentation of the Eagle Badge, and the success of these efforts will be manifested in the way this Eagle Scout sets a social pattern for all those lives he will touch. Will the escorts of the court please escort the parents of the candidate to the stage? Will the escorts of the court please escort the scouting leaders of the candidate to the stage? Please stand at this time, Brother Wilson. Please stand, Brother Waltz. The other members of the court, as your name is read out, please stand up. Mr. Chuck Sherpa. Mr. Sherpa is our Union District Commissioner. Sister Shauna Doherty. Sister Doherty is a member of our Boy Scouting Committee. Sister Yvonne Arroyo. Thank you very much to escort you dismissed. sorry. I'm sorry, escorts, I'm sorry. Will the grandparents please stand? Scouting biographical sketch of the Eagle candidate will be presented by Brother Wally Frank, the Eagle candidate's father, after which we will have a special musical number by Sister Robin Hall.
Usually it's not the case that the father is up here giving a biographical sketch, but I'm probably the only one that really can give Jason's scouting kind of biography. He's been in 5 different councils since he first started in scouting back in September of 1982. And that particular time we belonged to the Pikes Peaks Council. He was a part of Troop 508. And he walked over the bridge at the elementary school, and we put on his neckerchief, and he began his career as an 11-year-old scout that we refer to as a Blazer Scout. That particular time, I happened to be Jason's Blazer leader and worked with him. In fact, I remember going out to the first kind of a day camp that we had, and the first thing we did is we worked with the boys and had them earn their firemanship and their totemship cards at that time, so they were able to know how to make fires properly and how to use axes and knives and saws properly. Jason during this time served as a patrol leader and also as a den chief. I think a couple of the things that are memorable in probably his mind are a Stake Fall Camporee that was held in Colorado Springs, whereas as one of the youngest scouts, he won the Orienteering Award and also the Fireman Building Award, and came in a couple of the other activities that they had, and was awarded the Outstanding Scout Skills Trophy at that particular camporee. One of the highlights for scouts in the Colorado Springs area is participating in the winter sprees. They're a little bit different than the winter sprees that we have here in Georgia in 85-degree weather. There you actually have about 3 or 4 feet of snow, and that's one of the things that is a scout troop that they enjoyed quite a bit, where they put sleds together and then ran a competition. There was a time competition where they had to go through different events, and in each place that you stopped you had to demonstrate a scouting skill. And then the troop with the best time at the end of that won the award. I think the thing that they enjoyed also there is the opportunity to have some fun in the afternoon after the skills contest was over, where they spent some time on inner tubes going down the steep hills that they had there, and just staying down and sledding while they were there. Jason moved in the summer of '85 to Fayetteville, North Carolina, and at that time became part of the Occoneechee Council, and that was Troop 548. Arrived during that week and went to church that Sunday, met a scoutmaster, went to the hospital and found a warrant officer, took physicals, went out with his parents that night and bought some things that he needed, or actually was early the next morning and was on his way to scout camp that very next day. And it was kind of an interesting experience. An individual by the name of Gold, that was the scoutmaster, Brother Gold there, is probably one of the best scoutmasters that Jason has had. Organization, was Wood Badge, also worked on the council committee, the council executive committee, and really did a super job with the boys and really motivated the boys. And I think this is a place where Jason kind of turned around a little bit from stagnating just a little teeny bit and really started moving towards achieving his scouting awards. I think one thing that was kind of memorable to him at this particular area was shoebox camp out, where everything that they took on the camp out they had to put in a shoebox. And it happened to rain that night, and they kind of all got wet, and they came home early. And I know Jason kind of felt good about it in a way. He had an opportunity to go up to the temple. They happened to have an extra seat on the bus, and they weren't sure if they're going to have one. And he was able to go on that camp out and still go up to a trip to the Washington, D.C. temple. I think one of the favorite things, too, that I used to remember and that he probably remembers in this area, too, once the camp was set up and everything was ready for the night, the kind of favorite activity of the boys during the evening from about 10 till about 11:30 at night was to play capture the flag. And it was always kind of interesting to watch their strategy and to see what they did in participating in this particular game. December of '85, Jason moved again, this time to Marina, California. And this time he was part of the Monterey Bay Area Council. And he participated in the troop for a while. It was Troop 96, and then also participated in the varsity team there. They had kind of a hard time getting out. The Scoutmaster wasn't able to go out too often. So I offered up an opportunity for the boys to go out, and was taking them out on a monthly basis. The first night that we went out to a stake camp that was a church camp that hadn't been used for quite a while, that had some cabins up there. When we got up there, we set up and we cooked the night meal, and after we cooked the night meal, we did a little exploring. And the first thing I heard was a bunch of boys coming screaming back down the hill. And they had gone into one of these cabins, and as they got into the cabin, there was kind of a screen that was over a back part of the one of the walls, and there was kind of a hand that was reaching in, a paw, a white paw that was reaching in, and they thought it was just something that was just hanging there. And they went over to it, and they found out what it was. It was a badger, and it kind of scared them. And they decided that because of that, they weren't going to sleep in those cabins that night. So they all slept outside underneath the stars. In fact, they even made me turn on, they had electric light there, and they made me even turn on the electric light because they were just a little bit apprehensive about the animals in the area. Well, he's kind of had a history of rain throughout his career, and that night it rained. And Jason helped me kind of carry these boys in their sleeping bags. I had some that you just couldn't wake up at all, and they were just out there in the rain, and they just pulled the covers over themselves, and they just stayed there. And so we kind of, both of us dragged them in, put them in the cabins that night, and that's where they stayed. I think another memorable thing that probably remembers there is the fundraiser that we did out in California. That was selling pizzas. We bought ready-to-made pizzas, and this was a great money-raising effort for us out there that not only allowed us to help provide some money for the boys to go to camp, but also provided some real necessary scout equipment for the troop there. In the summer of '86, Jason moved again, this time to Bloomington, Indiana, and he became part of the Hoosier Trails Council there, and joined the varsity team 120, and later part of the Explorer Post 120. He had missed some campouts here along the way. Had only been to one campout because in the summertime was usually the time that he landed up moving. One of the things I think that he enjoys the most was a particular Latter-day Saint Mormon encampment that was held at Randsburg Scout Camp on Lake Monroe. close to Bloomington, Indiana. I think one of the incidents that he probably remembers really well is coming back on a Sunday evening from the campfire that we had that night, and it literally just opened up and poured. And as we were coming down, we were kind of on a tier where we had some boys up here, and then a tier down. We had the scoutmaster and some boys here, and then we had the varsity team tiered down at this bottom. And we didn't have any choice as far as where we were supposed to be assigned. They wouldn't let us trench the tents. And as it started raining, Jason and I peered into a couple of these tents, and you've never seen anything like it in your life. All the stuff was just moved into the center. Water was just literally flowing through these tents. And Jason and I spent about 2 hours, and I didn't ask him to. He just pitched in and helped me. And we just ditched these tents to these boys, and so the water could start flowing, and they could kind of have some place to sleep. Another thing I think that you'll remember from that particular camp out is they were assigned to put together the campfire for one of the campfire programs that night. And they decided they were going to really build a big campfire. And they did that. In fact, they built one that was so big that it got so hot that a couple of people that were on the front row of the amphitheater had to move out because it was providing so much warmth to them at that particular place. The last place that Jason has come to in his boy scouting career has been here to Hinesville, Georgia. He moved here in 1988 to the Coastal Empire Council and became part of, at that time, all there was a troop, which was 401, and later a varsity team was organized. Jason has been a Life Scout since 1986. Has had a lot of different varied interests. That there was a girl that popped in between there that got his attention a little bit more than scouting for a while. But I think the thing that really impressed him is he was invited to an Eagle dinner. We went to another Mormon encampment up at Camp Barstow in South Carolina, and there was a brother Arnold there from the headquarters of the church that really gave him a challenge, that gave those boys a challenge that were potential Eagle Scouts. And it really impressed Jason and gave him the inspiration to finish up his Eagle project and to do the last couple of merit badges that he needed to for his Eagle. It's been a career of moves. It's been one of kind of ups and downs where he's been involved in the scouting program, and then it's been tapered off. But it's been one that he's enjoyed. It's been one that I'm sure that he'll extend and give other boys an opportunity when he's called to serve and work in the scouting program for the rest of his life. And I'd just like to say these things in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Tomorrow all the things were gone I'd worked for all my life, and I had to start again, which is my family life. I thank my lucky stars to be living here today. The flag still stands for freedom, and they can't take that away. I know I'm free, and I won't forget God bless the USA. Proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free. Forget the men who died who gave that right to me, and I'll gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today. 'Cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA.
Would the Eagle candidate please rise? This candidate for Eagle Scout has passed all the requirements for the rank of Eagle. A total of 24 merit badges have been earned. He has completed a service project and has served a scout troop and a varsity team as a junior leader. He sat before the District Eagle Board of Review, and his records have been reviewed and approved by the National Council of the Boy Scouts of America. He stands before us tonight. The Eagle Award should not be presented to this Eagle candidate. However, if anyone knows any reason why this scout should not be awarded the rank of Eagle Scout, let him speak now. The voice of the Eagle.
Ladies and gentlemen of the court, we represent all scouts who have received the Eagle Award in the Coastal Empire Council. We do not object to the awarding of this badge, but we do believe that this candidate should understand that the Eagle rank is a responsibility as well as an honor. We respectfully ask that this candidate be informed of the responsibilities of an Eagle Scout before the badge is awarded.
I concur. Please state the responsibilities of an Eagle Scout for this candidate.
The white of the Eagle badge stands for honor. The first responsibility of an Eagle Scout is to live with honor. An Eagle's honor is sacred. Honor is the foundation of all character. Character is what one really is, not what one thinks he is. An Eagle's life should influence his family, church, school, and friends in a positive manner. May the white of your badge remind you to live with honor always.
The second obligation of the Eagle Scout is loyalty. It is designated by the blue in the badge. Without loyalty, all character lacks direction. To thine own self be true, and it must follow as day follows night. Thou cannot be false to any man, neither pain nor profit, pride nor personal loss shall change him in his loyalty. The blue is the emblem of loyalty.
Third obligation of an Eagle Scout is courage, symbolized by the red badge. Courage gives character, force, and strength. Trusting in God and with faith in his fellow man, he faces each day unafraid and seeks his share of the world's work to do. Red reminds you always of courage.
Final obligation of the Eagle Scout is service. He extends a helping hand to those who still toil along the scouting trail. Just as others helped him in his achievement of the Eagle rank. The head of the daily good turn must take on a new meaning through a life of service to all those who need him. He protects and defends the weak and helpless. He aids and comforts the unfortunate and oppressed. He upholds the rights of others while defending his own. He well knows and always will be prepared to put forth his best.
Are you willing and eager to accept the responsibility as well as the honor of the badge of an Eagle Scout?
I am.
Because of your reply, the Eagle Scouts of the Coastal Empire Council welcome you as a new member of the highest order among Scouts.
The Eagle candidate. We'll now be honored to hear from our guest speaker, Bishop Fran Doherty.
Well, come down out of the altitudes there with you. Tremendous biography, probably done the only way that your father can do it. especially if he was your scoutmaster or blazer leader at certain times. I can share many of my own experiences the same way. My father was my scoutmaster for most of my scouting. And my wife's waiting over here for me to. We heard your badger story. I've got a bear story. Thanks. I've got a little scar on the back of my leg, and I honestly got that at the Belmont Scout Ranch from a bear. But I was some distance from the bear. I was running away from the bear, and I got it caught in the barbed wire fence between me and the place I was trying to gain refuge. Really did. We had to run, and we ran up on top of the shower, and the bear came flying on by. I think of also winter camp when myself and my father and about 5 or 6 other guys carried 3 or 4 other scouts out of a valley where we camped, and the snow came in. It was just so deep, it was covering up our tents, and we couldn't get the wood dry and all that. Great experiences. You're on Eagle Trail, and there's Brother Paul talked about the theme of this is upward on that trail. You know, Lord Baden-Powell knew the importance of awarding badges to scouts. He knew that, you know, each young man would like to see those badges on his uniform, as you can see all these boys. But he also knew that those badges represented something for others to see as well. They represented the work that you've done. So in the church, in the community, even in the business world, the Eagle badge has great meaning. In church, it's a symbol to us of your willingness to work with your family. Because as a Cub Scout, even before you got into Boy Scouts, you worked closely with your family. Your father was part of your scouts, I'm sure your parents were, and your brothers are part of your scouting experience. And also to the church, it means the spiritually centered meanings of scouting that should never be lost. You know, the churches accept the scouting as a program for the boys because it is a tremendous vehicle. And as Baden-Powell spoke often, that it is spiritually centered. But we haven't denied in this organization there is God. The scouting organization has gone to court and maintained its right, maintained its values in the area of spirituality. Have never been taken away. In the community, the Eagle Scout represents someone who has civic pride and has civic responsibility. I was given an award when I graduated from high school by the Daughters of the American Revolution, if I remember right. And I hadn't done a thing except earn an Eagle Award. This award came out of nowhere, and I'm not sure that any of us did any particular service project to earn it. But I guess just because of things that were going on in school and the fact that I had the Eagle Award, the Daughters of the American Revolution recognized that Eagle Award. And there were so few of us who were getting it there in that community that was important to them, and they recognized it. So as an Eagle, and as you wear your Eagle badge, you'll be seen. Others will see you, and that'll mean something to the community. And even in the business world, where many times the values are not the same, where quite often money speaks louder than principle, an Eagle is someone who has set goals for himself. An Eagle is someone who has not only set the goals, but he's figured out a plan, and he's executed his plan to the point where he's achieved it. It also means leadership out there. And although we may see lots of corporations, there's a great lack of leadership in any organization, in the business community, especially that with the kind of civic pride and the moral, spiritual background that you've got. In the Scouting Handbook, it refers to as a path toward Eagle as a series of forward-moving steps, each one progressing. Baden-Powell didn't believe in, there are requirements in scouting. There are requirements for each of your different badges. But you don't have to go with any of those requirements. say after you become a tenderfoot that, okay, I've learned the oath, I've learned the motto, I've learned the scout log. But you could leave it there. You could say, I don't want to go any further. I want to be a tenderfoot, or I just don't agree with the principles here. I'm going somewhere else. You've got that option in scouting. Not like in school where if you don't pass, you don't go to 5th grade or 6th grade to graduate and go to college. Scouting is something that a young man sets his own goals, sets his own sights, and goes about achieving them. So, then when you move to second class scout, after you've learned in tenderfoot, actually as a scout, possibly as an arrow of light young man in just scouts, you learn how to belong to the troop. You learn that you raised the scout sign and you got quiet. You learn that when the senior patrol leader put out his arms, you lined up in your patrol box. You learn to do that. You learn to be a part of that group, and if you're going to go by the standards, you got to stay in scouts. If you didn't want those standards, you went somewhere else. When you move down to second class scout, you learn, as your father talked about, you learn how to build a fire. Sounds to me like you did a pretty good job of that. You learn basically how to hike, and you learn first aid. You learned kind of how to keep up with the troop. As the troop started moving on in its hikes and its camp outs, you had to learn several basics to be able to keep up. So you did that as a second class scout. Then as a first class scout, you went on, you earned your first merit badge, and that was in first aid, showing how important that particular skill is in scouting and all things. You almost had an opportunity this afternoon to do some in war. You also learned cooking and camping. Okay, so you belong to the troop, and you're kind of keeping up with the troop. Now you're somebody that's going to pull the load. When it comes time to cook, you can help cook. When it comes time to set up a camp and know how that's supposed to be organized and build the tables and put up the corrals and things and do the lashing, you're someone who can be a part. You don't have to be dragged along behind and helped out. You're a first-class scout now, and you've learned to camp and you're wanting to cook. You've got your first aid and finish. Okay, then as Brother Hall also mentioned, you're ready to go into those 3 peaks, into Starlight and Eagle. 5 merit badges. That seems like a lot. You're sitting there in your Eagle, you've got to get 21. You've already got your first one. But now, everything's got in with us. Now read it. We looked at the merit badges that are required for Eagle, and out of those first 5 merit badges, you had to do 3 of them. You had to do badges that had to go toward Eagle. There's some tough ones in there. You had to learn citizenship in the community, citizenship in the nation. You had to be able to canoe, swim, hold. The other merit badges that are there are just a tremendous assortment of very important skills. They're going to put you in good stead and test your leadership skills. So as a star, you had to get 3 of those. First then as a life. If you look at 5 more merit badges, you're working on up to 11 here. And again, 3 more from Eagle. So you're getting closer and closer to that Eagle Award. Then you have to make the big hop. So you've got 10 more merit badges earned to make 21. Those hard ones. Depending on how your camps worked out and everything else, you may have put aside some of those really tough ones and try to get up that star and get life in there. But 10 more merit badges to make 21. And there are some pretty outstanding requirements. As far as you to be a citizen, to be an outdoorsman, to be a leader. Then in addition, a couple more things you had to do along that scouting trail and along your trail to Eagle. You had to appear before the leadership. You had to appear in boards of review. Brother Shirtley, finally, the committee he was on, to test you, to find out if you really had the right spirit and had really earned the Eagle Award. Yeah, you got all the merit badges, you put them on your sash. Now you had to pass the board review. You also had to be a leader in your troop. You had to be someone who stood in front, helped the other boys, brought them along, as you were prepared to do. And then also you counseled with your scoutmates. And each time you sat down with him, you talked about what you needed to do in your life. Not just an eagle, because eagle is a means. Even though it may seem like a great end, eagle's a means. Eagle is a means for you to learn these things. And when you finally achieve eagle, you gain the skills, but now you still got to go out and fly them. And then you did your last thing. You did your service project. You presented, you proved that the requirement for eagle is to serve other people. And to use those talents and put to use those talents in a way that will mean something. In your eagle project, you presented to the board stacks of the information that was necessary for all of us in this board to know our blood types. Very important thing to do, especially in these days with difficulties with blood supply and different viruses that take place. We're not sure of whose blood we're getting. It's very useful knowledge for members of the board to be able to work together using that information to support someone with blood that they might need. So you need to be proud. You need to realize what you've accomplished. You know, many of the folks that come into the bishop's office come in there because they don't have much self-esteem. They're having problems in their life because they haven't, because they don't believe they can master it. They don't believe that they can be the masters of their destiny. They don't have the personal self-esteem that it takes to develop a relationship with their Heavenly Father that allows them to have the strength to push through life and work through our adversity. But you've got that now. You've proven yourself as an eagle. You should never have a doubt. Whatever happens to you now in your life, whether you go in the Coast Guard or the Army or off onto your mission, later on, whatever you choose to do, there's going to be times when you get beat down. There's going to be times when everything's caving in around you, all your plans are falling apart. Your mom won't even talk to you on the phone. You're going to have to build yourself up. You're going to have to stand up and say, I can handle this. You know, I can get through this. I'm strong enough. If I have a good relationship with my Heavenly Father and I rely on Him and the skills that I've learned, hey, I'm an Eagle Scout. I've done something in my life. I've already proven my abilities. Excuse me. There's no reason to fall apart. Because Satan's great tools is to have people lose that confidence, to have despair. You can beat that now because you can just look and remind yourself that you're an eagle. Because you went through all those raining campouts. You were the one that touched the badger's paw. Okay. But you were smart enough to ask your dad to turn the lights on. You know, you've done all those things. You've helped him carry those boys that were wet and get them dry. So don't be too puffed up in your pride in the wrong way, but have pride in your accomplishments and be strong. Now you know that you are strong enough to be an instrument in our Father's hands to do work for other people. I just want to say at closing that you've run, you've walked, you've labored and tumbled and fallen along the Eagle Trail. Excuse me. But now you're ready. Now you've done it. And as soon as I stop talking, you'll get your reward. I'm proud of you. Yeah, for everybody in the ward. We're really proud of what you've done. And you're a great example for these other young men. In the name of Jesus Christ.
Alyssa Frank, the Eagle candidate's sister, will now read the poem, The Eagle Scout.
A fond mother watches her boy where he stands, apart from his comrades tonight. As they place on his camp battered tunic a badge, an eagle, the emblem of right. It seems just a few short months have passed since he joined with the youngster next door. How proud he was then of his tenderfoot pin, as he told her the message he bore. But the years have gone as he struggled along to learn what the Scout law is about. He practiced them daily, the oath and the law, until now he's an Eagle Scout. You say, why, it's only a pin. But I tell you, no honor shall gain with a man will mean as much to him. The red, white, and blue of the ribbon you see are the symbols of honor and truth. He has learned how to value these fine attributes in the glorious days of youth. And the outflinging wings of the eagle that nest on the breast of this night of today are the things which will lift him above petty deeds and guide him along the right way. Yes, it's only a pin, just an Eagle Scout badge, but the heart that's beneath it beats true. He will throw to the last the things which are good, a lesson for me and for you.
Thank you, Alyssa. I'm pleased to introduce at this time Ed Brown, who is our district committee chairman, representing the Liberty District, who will award the Eagle rank to Jason Frank and give him the Eagle charge.
Jason, would you please come forward along with your parents? It's been pointed out this evening, Jason has come a long way on his trail to Eagle. He's accomplished quite a bit. He's comes with very high recommendations, and he has been through a very rigorous examination and review. Having gone through that, and with the authority vested in this Court of Honor by the National Court, Boy Scouts of America, gives me a great deal of pleasure to present to Jason Frank the award of Eagle Scout, Boy Scouts of America. I'd like at this time also, Jason, if you'll stay up for just a minute, to give you the charge. It gives me a great deal of pleasure to read this charge because, as has been pointed out, you men are a very elite group this evening, being an Eagle Scout. The Boy Scouts of all nations constitute one of the most wholesome and significant movements in this world's history. And you have been found worthy to be raised to this highest rank among its membership. All who know you will rejoice in your achievement. Your position, as you well know, is one of honor and responsibility. You are a marked man. As an Eagle Scout, you now have a solemn obligation to do your duty to God and country and to your fellow Scouts and to others. This is certainly a great undertaking. You will live up to these obligations and will bring honor upon yourself and your brother Scouts. You cannot fail and bring down the standards of others. Your responsibility goes beyond your fellow Scouts. To God and to your country, to America, and to the many good things that have been given you, and to those who follow you. But these things depend for the most part upon the character and leadership abilities of her citizens. You come to help her in all that she needs most. You are there to make her future greater. I now charge you to undertake your citizenship with a solemn dedication. Be a leader, but lead only toward the best. Lift up every task that you do, and every office that you hold to the highest level of service. By doing so, all may live better. Again, congratulations, and welcome to that rank of Eagle Scout.
Thank you, Ed. In recognition of the mother's place in the award of Eagle and in the hearts of boys over the land, the Eagle will now pin on his mother, miniature Eagle, which is miniature of the Eagle, which is on his own badge. In the ranks of fathers who come to this court with their sons for the rank of Eagle, who are fathers who have had an active part in that development. Most are ardent and devoted Scouters. His son's Eagle rank is not just happenstance. He has made it a teamwork proposition. He signifies our great American heritage and American strength, the family. In recognition of his fatherly advice and guidance along the trail of the Eagle, I will now ask Jason's father to put the Eagle neckerchief on his son. In my hand, I hold the tie pin of a tiny eagle, the symbol of our country. Though it is tiny, it is a replica of the eagle on Jason's breast. It signifies the backing the father in this family has given to this Eagle Scout. We give this miniature tie pin to the eagle so that he may present it to his father. No words of this court can do justice to the devotion and patient perseverance with which Scoutmasters have developed this Eagle Scout towards worthwhile manhood. Only from his hands could these young men receive their Eagle Scout badges from time to time. A token of their faithful devotion, Brother Paul Wilson will present the Eagle Scout certificate and read the letter from the Chief Scout Executive. Brother Wilson.
Eagle Scout Jason Foster Frank, Team 401, Hinesville, Georgia, has satisfactorily completed the requirements and is hereby certified as an Eagle Scout by the Boy Scouts of America. Signed by President Harold, Chief Scout Executive. With love. Jason Foster Frank. Dear Jason, we want to congratulate you for attaining the Eagle Award. This achievement places you in a group of outstanding citizens who have earned the right to wear the Eagle Badge through diligent and hard work. You have set high standards for yourself. Now you have the added responsibility of upholding and maintaining the proud traditions of Scouting. We know that you will continue to be guided in your daily living by the Scout oath and law. The basis for development of your own personal code of conduct could not provide better guidance and will contribute to a more meaningful life. Best wishes to you for continued success in all that you do. Sincerely, Harold Living, President. Also, Ben H. Love, Chief Scout Executive.
The place of the unseen Scouter is too wide to mention all responsibilities and faithful work the district volunteer accomplishes. We present at this time Mr. Chuck Shurtleff, who is our district unit commissioner, with a pocket certificate which goes into a billfold. Unseen is so often the work of commissioners and district committee men and women goes unseen, but not recognized or appreciated for what it is. We ask this be presented to the Eagle Scout.
It's a great pleasure for me to be here tonight. I'm sorry I'm a little hoarse. I had the privilege of sitting on this young man's board of review, and it was an exceptional board of review. He's a very impressive young man. It's my honor to present to you your Eagle card, which represents that you've attained the Eagle rank. Look at this kind of like your driver's license to drive a car. This is your license to continue to go down that road of service that we all have traveled, and now give back to those boys that are below you and pay the men that helped you for all the things that they did for you. Congratulations.
I will now recall Bishop Doherty off his perch again for the presentation of duty to God.
Before doing this, I think that was a pretty impressive array of accomplishments. I think we all should give him a great big hand. I think we're so used to church meetings where we don't clap, and we don't do that much. Last thing I'd like to present here, Jason, is a pretty special award to us all. It's a Duty to God Award. There's a whole series of requirements that took 4 years to accomplish. Each of those years he had certain requirements to accomplish. Tonight we're actually going to award him his dad's badge. I don't know if I was supposed to tell him that, but it was his dad's badge and he won it too. Until the ones come in we ordered, and we'll get him his. But he had to go through like I said, a 4-year series, attending seminary, attending his priesthood and all his scouting activities. He has to live by the moral values that we all accept, the word of wisdom. It kind of separates him from a number of folks about the drinking and smoking part, but most of all because he understands the value of health, which that code fosters. He served in many leadership positions. He's proven by his actions and his service that he rendered and the things that he did that he is most deserving of this great award. I'd like to present this to you. What best wishes.
I have a special presentation here from the Bishopric of the Ward and also the unit committee of the ward, which is a Eagle blanket to Jason. You got your roses full. Congratulations. And at this time, we would like to hear any response from the Eagle this time.
All kind of proof that you can't just put price cover on there. Hearing, people kind of get it's been interesting. There's really nothing that Eagle Scouting is. And first of all, I'd like to put a challenge out to all the scouts here that they should obtain the Eagle rank, and they can all do it. Especially my 4 younger brothers. One who is very, very close. He needs to just finish one more merit badge, and he's got his Eagle rank. And I'd like to see them all become Eagles. I'd like to be there and help their ceremony. And I don't know. I guess it took a lot of kicking to get me up here. And, and I love my kickers. I have 3 that really got in there. That was my mom and my dad and brother Paul. And they all got in there and they made sure that I got kicked up with the Eagle. It took me a while, but I got it. And so now I become a kicker again. I've already, last time I went up to the Boy Scout Center up there, I picked up a couple of some announcements for this occasion, but I also picked up a couple of sport announcements that go on a leaders thing. So I just heard that they're going to announce some leadership thing in December where they're going up, and I want to go. So I'm getting my $12 off, and So, you know, I just have to say I love scouting, and I'd have to say I love everybody who's helped me along. All I can say. Say things.
At this time, this Eagle Court of Honor stands adjourned. Following the benediction by Brother Renee Merritt, would the audience please rise for the retirement of the colors? You're invited to remain for light refreshments and reception for the Eagle Scout Jason Frank in the room right adjacent to this one. 340. Thank you for your attendance this evening.
Now I'll record this wonderful foreigner over there talking to the Eagle Scouts.